Now, I never wear white, but I'm going to wear white tonight, and it's for a good reason. It's that new Radical Masculine merch, boy. Now, I knew I couldn't just make black shirts because not everyone has a black soul like me. Some people like white, some people like red. So I'm going to make an assortment of colors. I got all of the tight ass merch coming soon. Now, today I'm going to react to part 2 of the reaction that I reacted to yesterday. And before we get started, I'm going to tell you a funny little story. Now, me and a couple of my friends, we were in Casper, Wyoming. We were traveling salesmen. And the first thing we would do every time we would get to a new state or a new city, we would hit the liquor store, get a little buzzed, and go pick up some local gals. All right? They'd all want to party with the out-of-towners. We'd meet them everywhere. You know, it wasn't like you could just go to the bar. Besides, back then, I was under 21. So we'd go to the places like, almost said Pepsi Hut, Pizza Hut, Walmart, you know, Dollar General, all of the local establishments that, you know, that may attract like younger people. And sometimes we would just meet them going about our business. It wasn't like we were targeting. Don't get me wrong. We used to get laid a lot out of town, so we knew what time it was. So anyway, we were already there in Casper, Wyoming. This is day number 2. Now, the first day, we drank way too much. We got way too drunk, and we didn't even work the first day. Well, I guess it would be the next day because we were all hungover. So we're like, we'll hit it hard tomorrow, you know, we'll catch up. We were all good sales reps, so we knew we'd get back on track. So we had a hangover day, pissed away our first daylight, and then that night we were like, okay, we're not buying no more alcohol. Like, we are done with it. Let's go grab something to eat. We're hungry. We're going to go to bed early. We're going to hit it hard tomorrow. We have to get back on track. So we went to the Denny's right across the street. And our waitress was an attractive young lady, probably about like 22, 23. And so we're talking to her and we're like, hey, we're going to have a little hotel party. And she was like, really? You guys have any alcohol? And we're like, yeah, because I'll be honest, we didn't think that she was going to come back with 3 fucking guys, you know, and it was just her. We had her on the horn trying to get a hold of other friends or whatever, and everyone was asleep. I mean, it was like a Wednesday, for Christ's sakes. She's like, well, I'm down to hang out. And we're like, okay, I guess, you know, 3 dicks, 1 vagina. Didn't know how that was going to work. There was definitely going to be a coin toss because my 2 buddies, I wasn't putting my dick anywhere near them. You know, nowhere near them. So anyway, she agrees to come over. And we're getting ready to leave. She's like, okay, I need to grab my stuff from my locker. And then we realize, we're like, shit, we don't have any alcohol. The liquor stores were closed by now. And we didn't know what to do. So I was like, okay, I'm going to run back to the hotel. I'm going to see if there's any beer left. Because we bought like a 30-pack of Keystone Ice. And so I ran back to the hotel. My 2 buddies were there, you know, massaging and, you know, making sure the situation went down or whatever. We weren't sure who was gonna, you know, who's gonna get it in. So I run back to the hotel. All the beer cans are virtually empty. There's only like a little bit in the bottom of each can. So I'm like, fuck, what are we gonna do? And she was hell bent on getting drunk. She's like, oh, I want to get drunk tonight. It's been a rough week. And so anyway, I started getting all the half empties, only a little bit left, pouring it all in 1 can. And then finally I filled up 1 whole can. And I took a sip just to make sure it was, you know, it was worthy. It was a worthy gift to a guest that we just met. And it tastes like shit. It was flat as fuck. And I put a lot of effort. I even think I put a little bit of water in there, you know, to try to, you know, this is extra light beer now. So anyway, we get back to the hotel, or they finally arrive to the hotel, And so she's like, hey, so where's the beer at? And I was like, oh man, somebody broke in here last night and stole it all. She's like, really? Yeah, that's been happening a lot. So anyway, I go to the little refrigerator and I said, but we have one left. Then it was already open too, you know? It's like, yeah, we were trustworthy guys or whatever. We wouldn't drug or nothing stupid like that. But there are guys out there like that. So even though this is a funny story, I will tell women, don't do this because you don't know who people are. They could be creeps. You never know. So anyway, I hand her this beer already open. And you would think she'd look at it. And nope, she grabbed it, took one little sip. You know, because at first, it's like when you're drinking and you're vibing and you're listening to music, then chemistry happens naturally. Intimacy kind of falls into place. You're drinking, having fun, and then you're making out or whatever. So I think that's kind of what we were thinking with the alcohol. But I was tired. I was hungover. My buddy was tired. He was hungover. But my other buddy, Pat, he was all in there like swimwear, like he was all entertaining her. He went and sat next to her, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. So she literally took one little sip, and then she put it down. She said, all right, whose dick am I sucking first? True story. True story. Now, I didn't take part of anything. Neither did my other buddy, my buddy Pat. Holy shit. He asked for some privacy. We walked out of there, and then, we thought he was done or whatever, because we didn't hear anything going on in there. And then we went in there, and he was literally standing on the bed with their legs wrapped around him. He was jumping, and it was disgusting. And then, we walked in, like, oh shit, sorry. She's like, no, guys, come on in. It's all right, come on in. And so we're like, okay, we walked. I took a seat, and I'm like, okay, crossed my legs, like, okay, what's I don't want to look, but I'll I'm not a doctor, but I'll take a peek. And so, anyway, so they're doing it, and then he makes the climax, and it sounded like she climaxed, but she could have been faking it. And then he looked down, he's like, oh my god, where in the fuck's the condom at? Where's the condom at? And it was kind of dark in there. There was a few little lights on, like the light from the bathroom or whatnot. And so I flip on all the lights, and the condom was on the opposite side of the hotel. And it's like, how in the hell did it get there? I was like, were you guys over there? He's like, no, it must have shot off. Who knows? But anyway, like I said, we are going to react to part 2 of yesterday's reaction of women who divorce their husbands and still find a way to be the victim. They get mad when they move on. In yesterday's monologue, I went ahead to say that women will fight for a relationship. They will fight for chances that they don't even really care about because they don't really want you. They just don't want you to want anyone else. They just don't want you to move on. They want you to stay stuck on them. Meanwhile, they move on, they do their thing, they live their best life. And then the moment you get a new girlfriend, they're traumatized, they're damaged, it's so messed up. How can you do this to me? And they almost talk about it like, the guy ruined the marriage, even though she initiated it, she wanted it. She was insecure about his career and his promotions and his freedoms, although she chose to stay home with the kids, or she chose to work part-time to be with the kids. So she's basically divorcing him for all the decisions that she makes, but yet she still wants him to want her. So without further ado, welcome to the Radical Masculine.
The ideas, opinions, and beliefs of the radical masculine are for entertainment purposes only. We make fun of everyone equally.
go a little bit more into the bureaucracy, you know, and the paperwork and how difficult it is to get a divorce. And I guess they do it to deter you from actually getting a divorce, and maybe it's easier to work things out. You know, at the end of the day,
I have to be honest. So the last video, she described her husband, high earner, top tier dude, financially. And I look at her and I'm like, what the hell was he thinking? She's like average. She's as mid gets.
we're animals. Are animals with each other for the rest of their lives? Like, is there like one lion and
You're an animal.
another lion, and they're, you know, they mate and they are a family for
I fuck like an animal.
the rest of their lives? Or does the lion go, you know, and they have different partners? You know, I think I've heard that only penguins are monogamous. So it just makes me
You don't know shit about penguins. Keep their fucking species out of your mouth. Huge fan of penguins. Huge.
think like it shouldn't be so freaking difficult to get a divorce. It really shouldn't. I think it goes against our nature. Maybe we are supposed to be with a lot of people. This one person for the rest of your life is something that we really need to like.
That's a cope, and that's a man's mentality. Like I said, women want to be men so bad. They want to fuck like men, they want to work like men, but they can't because they're women.
Cut out. What do you think?
I think that you belong to the streets. I think that you are insane. I think that your husband shouldn't have married you. I think that you deserve nothing, and I will let my people tell you exactly what they really think about you in the comments section. Now, before we enjoy some sweet tears, let's watch how this woman's mind go crazy to have an idea of all the
Now, this is the majority of women. If you look up these type of videos, so the purpose of my channel is to expose female nature. And if you keep watching, you're going to notice a pattern. Whether it's, you know, married, wives, the modern woman is the modern woman. Pardon the way I sound, I'm getting sick.
Yes, her ex-husband endured during the marriage.
I wanted to share another thing, like something that I do. You know, I have these like internal fantasies, or like, how do you explain them? Like when you invent stories in your mind, like the anxiety. And today,
Her husband must have been a titty guy because she is ugly. But she does have some rangs though.
H is going back to Mexico. He's leaving Miami, and I started fantasizing, having this crazy story.
But don't get too excited because these are those rangs. When you pull them out, it looks like a 12-inch subwoofer. Boom, boom, boom.
That he's going to decide to come here to help me, and I had to stop myself in the middle and say, Melanie, stop it. Stop. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Don't even go there. Because then what happens, and this is one of the faults in my relationship, is those fantasies, I start feeling those feelings and I bring them into like real life. And
See, even when a woman divorces a guy, or even if a girl breaks up with a guy, they still expect him to carry on his masculine burden of performance, to help them, to do shit for them, to think about them, even though she fucking divorced him. That's crazy. She still has expectations, and she still gets disappointed when you don't do things for her. It's like when a woman divorces you, fellas, she is dead to you. She's the mother of your child, then it's all about the kids. But anything else, just drop them.
I feel the resentment towards him because of my fantasy, and that's not good.
She is literally fighting someone for something that never happened. You cannot get crazier than that. Fellas, be aware of the woman who doesn't want any kind of structure in her life. Let me show you an example of what I mean.
No, that's true, because there are women that only want subjectivity. Nothing's all the same. Everything is different. Nothing matters. There's no through lines to where they could think one way about one situation, to where they could love women and not want women to get harmed by men. But then in that same breath, they could say, oh, trans women should be able to compete against women, and then women getting hurt, and they're like, oh, well, it's a huge contradiction, but it is what it is. And that baby was going for those things. He's like, I'm hungry.
We're going to talk a little bit still about the comments that I'm getting, trying to keep an open mind and listening to everyone's thoughts, and it's been very, very, very interesting. I have the mentality of, keep what works for you, discard what doesn't, but there are two things that are really, like, for me, I'll just block the person. One, anything that pushes, like, religion and the Bible and,
Usually when a guy marries a mid like this, a girl that's completely mid, I would say she's probably, I don't know, like, she's average. Like, I know women are like, she's so beautiful, but they say that about every ugly bitch. But guys will marry and date mid females like her because they think they could get, like, loyalty or, like, submission, or that she would be there with them forever. Guys used to be able, like top tier dudes, used to be able to date more average women, and those women would work hard because they knew the man was the prize, and they were ride or dies. They did it all. That's why a lot of basketball players, they got average looking wives. But these days, the average mids, they think they're the prize, and that like they're the shit, and it's just like, nah. You're mid. It's like, can't rewrite reality.
That kind of talk. Like, I'm not a religious person. I believe in my God, and I respect everyone else's religion. I just do not. That's not something that I want. Doesn't help me. And second, any type of patriarchal bullshit. That absolutely. I had a comment the other day that
She's basically saying that she does not like any type of structure, anyone to say this is right, this is wrong. Just how humans, what they have used to get through millions of years or hundreds of thousands of years of saying, follow this and be a good person and do X, Y, and Z, and you can't. No, they want to recreate their own fucking world to where no one could say I'm wrong because it all depends. It's all different. So women like this, red flag. Her God. I bet you her God looks a lot like her. Because it's her.
I should concentrate on being a wife, a good wife and mother. And it's like, well, that is just not going to fly with me. That's not the type of person
Oh, that sounds like pretty good advice to me. But apparently it's not. Apparently she only wants advice that suits her delusion.
am. So yeah, that will get immediate blocked. But everything else I really do consider, and if I
All the stuff I
feel
want to hear.
that it was really great, I will write back, and other things.
Only the stuff that I want to hear, or the stuff that kind of goes with how I'm feeling right now.
I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's how I roll.
She is basically saying that she will only take an advice that makes her feel good. Again, it's not about being religious or not. It's about following a well-designed structure. Never associate yourself with these free-spirited people that believe in nothing. Now, this is the most important part of the video because there is a great lesson to learn from this story. I want you to remember that this woman divorced her husband who didn't do anything wrong according to her own words. Her ex-husband, who is a very busy man who works internationally, decided to buy a home just 3 minutes away from her so that she can have access to him easily for his kids. But I want you to see how she picks the little things her ex-husband say to come and complain about him on TikTok.
I'm exhausted.
She looks like Waldo's crack whore sister. Crack whore, one word, and then whore.
And defeated, and felt like maybe sharing will make me feel less exhausted and defeated, but not. It's just gonna get me to say whatever I gotta say and put it out there. It's so exhausting. I need a break. I need a break. I'm planning to take a trip to Europe for 2 weeks for my 40th birthday in November, and I've talked
40? Uh-oh.
to each about it. My kid's father And he was on board. And then yesterday, when the kids were going nuts, he was like, I don't know if, you going to Europe is a good idea. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. And I'm like, motherfucker, I do this shit all the fucking time. I didn't, honestly.
Congratulations, you're built and you're bred for it. You're a mother. Who really complains about being a mother? Oh, modern women do.
Think it would be as hard as it is.
It is.
And I am not one of those mothers, my child is autistic, but she's gonna have a lot harder than I am, so I'm not complaining at all. There's some,
Sounds like she's complaining to me, and you should be grateful that she's going to be a great artist.
other things to parenting an autistic child. It's not easy, but it's easier than what it will be for her. But then discovering also my ADHD, it's a clusterfuck. I need a break. And when he said that to me yesterday, and thinking about like, oh my God, am I not going to get this break?
Women go out of their way to try to find a way to be a victim regardless of the situation. Whether it's a divorce or whether you are in a relationship, they will always find a way to play some shit. I want you guys to pay attention to the mind of the modern woman. Because I'm telling you what, ever since I started doing research, I'm like, how in the fuck did I ever end up with these women after I orgasmed? I could never figure, I'm sitting here now and I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking this whole time? Now it's just like, girls like this, you have sex with them and then you move on to the next. Because women outnumber men, and if you're a high earning man, well, you get all the girls, especially if you have a little bit of riz, a little bit of game, just do that. Like, buy a penthouse, have sex, nice cars, motorcycles, do your thing, boy. But this is crazy.
What do I do? Do I take one with me? But if I take one with me, it's not a vacation. I can't even afford that. The only reason I can go is because I have a free ticket. I'm drained.
You should have stood with your husband that had money, but women will champion her and say, you don't need his money. You'll find a way to make it work, and all them bitches are single and divorced and are all gonna die alone. And misery loves company. That's how you describe modern, single, unmarriageable, divorced, high body count women.
I'm mentally exhausted, and now I have to flip the switch and start working because at 12 o'clock I have to go pick my son up and then put him down for a nap, make food, and get in as much work as I can for the rest of the day.
I just want to let you know that her ex-husband agreed to stay with the kids at the end. And even when he said, I don't think that you going to Europe is a good idea, I am sure that he was just joking because he had all.
I was gonna say that it sounded like a joke, like the kids out of hand. Well, I don't know, but she still found a way to be offended.
He agreed to take the kids. But did you see how she made a big deal out of that one comment? Fellas, this woman created this TikTok account to specifically complain and trash talk her ex-husband. But every time I read between the lines when she talks trash about her ex-husband, I notice all the efforts her ex-husband is doing to make her life easier for the kids. So I knew that she must have at least one video where she gives props to this exceptional man. Now, while watching this finale clip, I want you to ask yourself this question. If an exceptional man like that can get divorced for absolutely no good reasons, is there any hope left? Let's watch the clip.
I started this TikTok as a way for me to get out all my feelings about getting a divorce and being divorced. And
no, you started it for attention, for people to reaffirm your distortions, your delusions. Oh no, you're doing the right thing. Don't worry, be strong. It gets better. All these females are coping. Women, they live their whole life around men. When they're young and attractive, even though they say men ain't shit and they're independent, they are still constantly dealing with men. In and out of relationships, situationships, there's always men around to uplift them. So it's all bullshit. It's all cap. But when you get older, that's when you start losing the attention. If she was able to go out there and still attract high quality, attractive men, she wouldn't be talking shit at all. She'd be moved on, doing her thing in the club, twerking. You know, I seen those tattoos. That means she's dropping that thing like it's hot. But instead of so much love, it's bullshit.
You know, the new relationship with my ex as a co-parent and whatnot, and I've spent a lot of time on here venting about my frustrations with H, my ex. But this is a
You notice she always says his fucking name. Always. Always, always. She always says his name. So either A, she's trying to put him on blast one way or another. For two, she can't get him out of her head. So she divorced a man that she still fucking loves. Or three, all of the above.
completely different post, because this is one giving him major props. So yesterday I woke up with an excruciating headache at like before 5 in the morning, and my son was nursing, and it was just like all over here. It was a very particular headache. Usually when it's like that,
It doesn't sound very particular if it's that whole fucking area. Come on. Us men have big brains. We know what the fuck you're talking about.
it's because I'm dehydrated. So I was in serious pain. Then I started sweating in bed, and at 5 in the morning, I just had to get up and start hydrating because I was scared. And then my son started screaming.
When you're dehydrated, you don't sweat much. Just putting it out there. I've been there before. You sweat a lot less.
And I just felt awful. I think like my blood pressure dropped, and I felt nauseous.
No, you knew your ex was available. You knew he wasn't out of the country. And you knew that you could fucking cry, wah, wah, wah. And he could appease your ego by showing up to be a fucking superhero.
And, you know, I was sweating. It was just bad. So finally at 6 o'clock, like I go on Instagram to see if H is up, and I did see he was active, so I called him. Luckily he lives like 3 minutes away by car, and I told him, because like at that point my daughter was like, make me breakfast, and I couldn't get up off the couch. I was in excruciating pain. I did not feel well. I was like, I think I'm gonna have to go to the hospital. And I am a person with a high
App.
threshold tolerance for pain. I had 2 natural childbirths unmedicated. I could not deal with this yesterday, and so I called
That don't mean shit. I've had some pretty strong boners before, but guess what? My body was built for it. Just like your body was built for that.
him, and I was like, I'm really not feeling well. I cannot do anything for them. And he's like, I'll be right over. And he came, and he saw my face. He was like, Ori, I thought you may have been exaggerating, but he saw how pale I was, and he made me a chocolate milk, and he's like, drink this.
He knew she was exaggerating. He knew the whole fucking shebang. And she's saying, oh, that he realized how bad it really was. But I'm willing to bet she's lying about that too.
Bring your blood sugar up, whatnot. And then I went back to bed. I laid down, I closed my eyes, slept for a little bit, and he was just coming. He's like, so what should I prepare? Our son's like, what should I make him for lunch? And I told him, and
So I get it. I'm trying to talk a lot less. And I am. I'm doing good. But I'll tell you what. In this woman's mind, I bet you she wants her ex-husband to fight for this relationship. Not because she wants him back, but because she wants to feel that she really was worth it to begin with. She wants to feel like he is making an effort. And that's all fine as long as he's still your fucking husband. But when he's not, he don't owe you shit. This guy's clearly going above and beyond for her. If I married a girl, or she married me or whatever, and then she divorced me, I'd make her a fucking glass of chocolate diarrhea and I wouldn't give a fuck about it. But with her, this guy's going above and beyond whatever. And if he didn't go all out, or if he was just a decent parent, she'd be talking mad shit about him. She made this whole TikTok account to talk shit about him. In fact, even the reason why she has to give him props is because all of these TikToks paint him in a negative light. But I'm just saying, this is the way, this is the modern woman, and get used to her because it's modern times, baby.
He made them breakfast, like he took care of it, and he had my back. He really did. I felt horrible, and he just came in, he dealt with the kids, he got them dressed, ready for school, daycare, and he took our son to daycare, and it was a huge relief. Like, he really, really was my team player, and I really appreciated his help.
I am really grateful that you've watched this video in it entirely, but I have
No, he wasn't your team player. He was your leader. You were the subordinate, because clearly you can't hack it without him, because you still want him, but you still want to do whatever you want to do. And that's just not the way the world works. And I will bet my life on the fact that he will get a younger, hotter, more attractive woman, no kids, and she will obviously be delusional as well, but she will keep that shit in check because she won't want to lose him. But for some reason, women like this get ideas in their fucked up head and think the grass is greener on the other side. And it's not. It's just really not. It's all bad. It's all bad. Men age like wine. Women age like shit. Okay, so that's going to conclude my reaction to the reaction. Now, I won't lie, at first I was gonna crop it, make it look like it was all my findings, like I found the TikTok and all this shit, but I wanted to make sure that this guy at least got the respect for putting all the work into finding the video, because I looked for it. I couldn't find it. So I'm like, fuck it. Rather than trying to chop this shit up to make it look like it's mine, I'm just gonna react to him. So, but anyway, if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. You can always hit that Cash App. $1 million is the goal for tonight. Alright? But either way, your attention is good enough for me. Maybe a like, maybe a subscribe. But other than that, have a good night, sleep tight, and just know that this spaceman is out.